Alex Kovacs, founder, owner, whatever the fuck you want to call it, of We Are Villains.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's the 10 crack commandments.
I'm 32 years old. I started the company We Are Villains at the very beginning of 2018. It was like the last week of 2017 was when the idea kind of came to my head and I started to go after it. So I started out with that, having other people print my stuff just because I started with 300 bucks. I just did the flip game on that. I put 300 bucks in, got some shirts and hoodies, sold all of them. I didn't even keep one for myself. I bought it off of myself because whenever I started the company, I was so insistent on the flip of turning this into this into this, because that's all I know. And it was just me in the fucking basement of my house losing my mind, wanting to quit because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was watching YouTube tutorials, I had shitty equipment, and it really put me to the test. I had no help other than YouTube, and I had no fucking idea what I was doing. So I kept going, and I bought some better equipment, and I kept trying, and shit started to come together. Shit started to look like it was supposed to look. Every day that I work, I learn something new, and I just kind of make a mental note of that. So when shit kind of goes south now, or shit kind of goes array, I'm like, okay, it could be one of three things, and most of the time I'm able to figure it out. So another thing that's made the brand so successful is I'm pretty transparent about my life on my personal Instagram. Now, it's not like I get on there and talk about all my fucking problems. It's just I keep it real. Like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I'm doing. Here's me and my son. Here's my everyday. Because what I look for in a brand is authenticity. If it's just some big ass fucking company that just wants to make a brand just to make a brand and they don't give a shit about it, they just want to make money, I'm not fucking with that. I learned early on, keep it fucking real with everybody. Like, don't bullshit about things. Don't stunt. Don't act like you're this. Don't pretend that you're something you're not. Keep it real. I have a kick-ass chick that I've been working with for a little over a year now. Her name is Jess. She's a graphic design artist. I hit her up. I'm like, hey, Jess, here's the ideas I have in my head. Here's what I made on Illustrator. I can't fucking put it together. I can't figure it out, and I got a lot of other shit going on. She'll take it. She'll make it look awesome. She'll polish it off, and she'll send it back to me, and I can do the rest that I need to do with it at that. I'm still a one-man band in the shop. My crazy-ass mother that you guys see a lot of on Instagram, and I have a whole story section dedicated to her. She's an organized freak, and I'm chaos. So she came into my shop and she started to organize like a motherfucker. And she's like, you need more organization in order for this business to grow. So financially, zero fucking help, which is perfectly fine. That's what I had that's how it's always been for me. So that wasn't an issue. It was, I had so much shit going on and it was just me. Yeah, so, and then on another note, my dad, he's definitely a supporter. He comes to all my events. He hangs out. He slings shit, selling shirts at events and stuff. He enjoys that. Whenever it comes to like the financial side of it, both of my parents, and my mom fucking made a comment the other day. Even if we fucking had money, you wouldn't have got any of it, because you're never gonna make it in life if somebody hands you shit. So everything I have, I've worked my ass off for, and I continue to work my ass off for, which to me is super fucking important, because one day when this is a bigger company, I don't want it to be some huge company where I'm out of touch with it. I still want to be in the mud, but I want to know how to do everything from fucking start to finish so that I can work alongside the people that work with me and help me. Yeah, so that $300 is where it started from, and I just kept flipping it and rolling it in and flipping it and rolling it in, and eventually making enough to where I could pay some of my bills and just continue the flip game still every day. I mean, that's part of business is. Yeah, and just getting the company to the point where it's at now has been a 7 days, 7 nights thing nonstop. Like, it's not something that just fucking happened. There were a lot of times where it was stagnant and I didn't know what to do because it was just me, and even for the photo shoots. And it doesn't end when I shut the shop down. I go inside, I eat some food. I got Brody with me every day and every night. We hang out, we do some things, but Once he goes to bed, it's emails, it's designs, it's getting back with customers, it's social media, it's the constant push of the product, because if you're not constantly pushing, you're going to get left behind. Like I said before, I really truly believe in my brand, and I believe in every single design that I release. There's a reason why I released it, why I came up with it. And it's always been kind of rooted in an underdogs thing. Like, it's actually like a thing Machine Gun Kelly said.
Success got everybody hating. Success to me is inspiration. 'Cause how we supposed to know that what we dream is possible if there's nobody that looks like us makes it?
That right there. That line of that song right there is something that's pushed me a lot. Just because it's true. I mean, you see all the famous rich people and they all have this persona about them, but you don't, it makes you feel, I feel like it makes people feel better when it's somebody that's come from nothing that actually makes it, especially somebody that's built something with their own two hands and makes it. It won't matter if I have $0 or $1 billion. I'm the same motherfucker, and that actually kind of aggravates some people in my life, because it's just a lot of the shit that I do. They're like, why are you still doing that? Like, why are you still fucking with that? Like, you don't have to, but it's just like, it's instilled in me. It's just who I am, and I'm never gonna change who I am just because I became successful, or I'm going to become successful, or I am successful. I'm never gonna fucking change who I am. I'm gonna get smarter and I'm gonna learn, but who I am as a person, my core values, they're never gonna change. I'm always gonna help people, and I'm always just gonna do the shit that I like to do. So I have some Q&As. I got a fuckload of them. Like, so I did my best. They said, so what inspired you to choose the brand name? I love it, and I just want to know what pushed you to pick that name. So it's kind of a home for the outcasts, you know, for the people that might not have fit in while they were growing up, or might not even fit in now at the workplace. What I like about my brand so much too, and how I built it, is that people message me all the time and they say, dude, I will support you till the end of time because of how your shit makes me feel when I put it on. It's a brand that makes you feel a certain way, because even though you might be villains and outcasts to these people, you're not villains and outcasts over here. You fit in. This is your home. So that's the dream that I've had with this brand, is to be able to build it to something that makes people emotional when they want to put it on. They can't fucking wait to throw that villain shirt on and go to the store and say, you know, this is what I'm part of. This is my home. Okay, another question that somebody asked me: will you ever open a clothing store in your future with your products? I don't think that I'll ever have a brick and mortar store. It's a lot of overhead. It's a lot to keep up with. What I do now, though, is I have a handful of small resellers, different head shops, different skate shops, different tattoo shops that are resellers for my brand. So they buy at a certain price and they resell it in their store. And I found that just works really well with my brand. It spreads the demographic. It gets more people interested in the brand that might not have seen it. And in this day and age with the internet, with my brand and my idea specifically, the brick and mortar is just kind of a thing of the past for me. So next one, what do you want to achieve / what's your biggest goal for the year of 2020? So my goal for 2020 is to open a handful more of resellers, do more shows and events, and really just spend a lot of time at the grassroots of it. Take my old 1964 truck, fucking put my banner up in the back, and just sling out of the bed of the truck. I don't give a fuck what point I'm at in my career with this. I'm always going to do shit like that, because to me, that's what's most important to me, is staying grassroots with something. All right, what do you value most? Obviously, my son is number one in my life. I value teaching him the right way to do things and how to handle certain situations, and how to work hard for things that you want. Because it's only going to continue to get harder. Things are getting harder and harder every day, every month, every year. So by the time he's my age, or by the time he's in his mid-20s, shit's going to be unreal. So I value spending time with him and teaching him probably more than anything. The next question is kind of Like the last one, how do you balance out your business with life and raising Brody? That's a tricky one because it's very difficult to balance both of those things and still feel okay, because there's a lot of times where I'm like, man, I work so much, have Brody so much, and it kind of like, it makes me feel bad, but at the same time, like I said in the last question, I think he learns a lot from it. So how I balance it is when it gets to a certain point, I shut the shop down, and I just say, no more for today, let's go do something. Or if it's nice out and I busted my ass the day and night before, if it's nice out, fuck it, let's go to the park, let's ride your bike, and maybe that night we'll come back and hang out, eat, and once he goes to bed, I go back to work. So it's kind of like the best way to say that I balance it is I just make time.
Paying your back, shit, forget it.